What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This morning, Nancy Pelosi held a vote in the House to pass the $2,000 stimulus check amendment. Well, it was no surprise that didn't pass. Multiple Republicans did not support this. They objected to it right away. Now, this was not the big surprise. What was more shocking is who didn't show up for this vote. Well, you knew Nancy Pelosi was going to show up. She's the Speaker of the House. She wanted to bring this vote to the floor. You knew Kevin McCarthy was going to show up because he wanted to object to this bill. Well, neither one of them showed up. Neither one showed up. Kevin McCarthy objected over the phone. Nancy Pelosi, she's back in California. She's back with her family. She wasn't going to show up. She wasn't going to come to Washington. But what I find ironic about this is that when the American people need Congress to step up and actually show up for the American people, they don't. And neither did they today. Today, Senator Roy Blunt, who is a Republican, he had something to say, and he said there's only one good way forward. I've been saying this for the past couple of days, that at this point, President Trump isn't going to back himself into a corner. And even though he already said, I want $2,000 stimulus checks per person, $4,000 for couples. And then he said he wants all the wasteful spending, taken out. And he wants Congress to come back with him with a good bill, something that he can sign. Well, that was what he said on Tuesday. Today's Thursday. What I can tell you is he's not going to say something on Tuesday, then go back on what he said, and then go and sign that bill. So the best way forward in President Trump's eyes isn't to sign the bill because he said it's a disgrace. Why would he sign a disgraceful bill? He's not going to do that. So the best way forward in President Trump's eyes is not to sign the bill. It's actually not even to really do anything at this point. Not even to, have Congress go and renegotiate because he knows they're not going to do that. What he is planning on doing, based on our reports, based on all the research I've done today on Christmas Eve, hours and hours of research just today to bring you the most up-to-date information, the most accurate information. What we are hearing is President Trump is most likely just going to take this to the end. So, he is most likely not going to sign this bill, which means he's going to put the pressure back on Congress. Congress is going to have to come back on Monday and pass a bill for a continuing resolution or a stopgap bill to keep the government funded. But here's what Senator Roy Blunt, a Republican from, I believe, Missouri, he had to say, the best way out of this is for President Trump to sign the bill. Honestly, my take is the best way forward is for him to sign this bill, because this means that Congress doesn't have to go back to the negotiation table and the American people get some sort of relief, something. It doesn't have to be a $2,000 stimulus check. It doesn't even have to be a $1,200 stimulus check. A $600 stimulus check would be better than nothing and waiting possibly a month to then see a $600 stimulus check in a month. So, experts currently predict that if Congress has to go back to the negotiation table, then we won't see a stimulus package agreed upon until possibly the end of January, maybe early February. That's not good. So if we want $2,000 stimulus checks, then multiple people are saying that it wouldn't come until January. But even then, there's nothing pointing to that Joe Biden were to support a $2,000 stimulus check. There are reports saying that Joe Biden would prefer a larger stimulus check, but not $2,000. He would prefer targeted relief to the unemployed people. So not a $2,000 stimulus check for every single American, maybe a $1,200 stimulus check for every single American, and then possibly $600 per week for people that are on unemployment. That's what's currently being talked about. Not, okay, Joe Biden's going to pass $2,000 stimulus checks. No. What Nancy Pelosi is doing right here, and again, this is ideal for Democrats, what President Trump did, because now Democrats can say, oh, we've been calling for $2,000 stimulus checks for months. When that's not the case, they have not. Some have. But most, no. $1,200 stimulus checks were kind of the highest they were willing to go. And $600 is what they agreed upon. So you can't say you've been fighting for $2,000 stimulus checks and then Republicans just talked you down to $600, because in the Democrat proposal, the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal, which was a bipartisan agreement, there were $0 for stimulus checks. So Democrats coming out now and saying, we've been calling for $2,000 stimulus checks for months. It's inaccurate. So, what should we be looking for right now? Here's what I can tell you. The first thing I can tell you is that without hearing from Mitch McConnell himself, all lawmakers at this point are hoping that President Trump comes forward and just signs the bill. They want this because they do not want to go back to the negotiation table. They know what happened last time. And all of this stuff could just completely get undone if they go back and open up the bills. Now, it is because of this that President Trump can only move forward and hope Congress takes his challenge, his threat, if you will, about this stimulus package and about the government funding bill serious. That he wants to get rid of the wasteful spending and increase the size of the stimulus check. He calls for $2,000 stimulus checks. But would he accept less? Some anticipate he would. But some say they have no idea how to read President Trump anymore. What I can tell you is that Congress will not renegotiate the government funding bill. They've already stated this can't be done. This would set them back months. And if they start to pull certain pieces of legislation, they start to take out funds for certain countries, then some lawmakers will be like, okay, well, you're taking out the funds for Burma. Well, why not pull the stuff from Israel? If you were giving money to Venezuela, why not take the money from Pakistan as well? And what's going to happen is it's going to turn into a big debate, and the negotiation period will start all over again, which is going to set them back months. So the only way forward, according to multiple lawmakers, is to wait for a major change. Wait for a major change. This isn't what Senator Roy Blunt said. He said the only way forward is the best way forward is for President Trump to sign this bill. Multiple lawmakers are saying that the only way forward is to wait for a major change. So, there are two major changes that could happen, and they could happen very soon. One, in about 10 days. The first one, if Republicans lose control of the Senate on January 5th, this is due to the Georgia Senate runoff election. If both of those seats go Democrat, then Democrats would now have a 50-50 split in the Senate. Currently, because President Trump and Mike Pence hold the office, currently Republicans would still hold the majority by one vote because Mike Pence would be the deciding vote. This would go until this January 20th. And that, again, if Joe Biden takes office on January 20th, then January 20th, the Senate would go from being a Republican majority to now being a Democratic majority because Kamala Harris would now be the deciding factor. So, the other big change is we wait until January 20th when Joe Biden is expected to take office. And this doesn't matter whether the Senate is controlled still by Republicans or it flips over to Democrats. So let's play out both these scenarios just to give you an idea. If Democrats win both seats in Georgia, then they will now have a 50-50 split, like I said. And most likely Kamala Harris will be the tiebreaker. But you need to keep in mind that in order to pass a bill in the Senate, you have to have 60 votes. So that means 10 people, 10 Republicans will need to join them to sign whatever bill. The interesting part here is that Chuck Schumer would be the leader of the Senate now. He'd be the majority leader, not minority like he is now. The majority leader gets to decide what bills see the floor, what bills they put on the floor for a vote. So, right now, what many people have said, multiple Republicans have said, they would support a larger stimulus package. They would support, a $1.5 trillion stimulus package, but not much higher. And because of this simple change in who now holds the majority in the Senate, Chuck Schumer could put a vote on the floor, put a bill on the floor for a vote. And if it passes, it passes. And he said this before. Just put it out there. He told Leader McConnell, just put it out there. And if it passes, it passes. If not, will go back to the negotiation table. That's all he's asking. Simple enough. The other option, because again, this would have to wait until January 5th to see who takes the majority, who has it. Do Democrats win both seats in Georgia? If they do, it goes Democrat. If not, and they only win one, or they don't even win one, it stays with Republicans. The other option would be to wait for Joe Biden to take office on January 20th. This is the most likely outcome. Okay? When I say this is the most likely outcome, there's still a chance President Trump can contest the election and he would remain in office for the next 4 years. Still a possibility. Right now, the House and Senate have both passed the Corona bus, the COVID relief bill and the omnibus bill combined. Therefore, it just needs the president's signature. That's it. They don't care who the president is. They just want the president to sign it. So, according to multiple reports, the second Joe Biden takes office, he would sign this bill without any delay. The second he takes office. So, with both of these options, it does require one thing though. Both of these options require the American people to wait. And we will have to wait through some of the toughest times that we will face as Americans, as a country. It will be brutal, according to reports. What experts are saying is that by waiting into the first week of January, millions would be served with eviction notices. They also say millions would have lost all their unemployment benefits and would be without any income. Nothing. And there would still be no additional funding to distribute the vaccine. This is the big one. This is the big one. Right now, Joe Biden, according to reports, is worried that without the funds to distribute the vaccine, we could see an additional, on top of what we're already getting, an additional 15 to 30,000 Americans dead. That's what we could get. So Congress, we can thank Congress for now we have 30,000 less people here in this country. Thanks, Congress. Some of those people that you are sitting next to, at your dinner table, that you see at work, maybe you go to school, friends, family members, colleagues, they might not be there. Just because we could be delayed about a month distributing this vaccine effectively. So, here's what we know about the next few days. The next few days are going to be brutal because right now, everything's in limbo. Everything's up in the air. My guess is tomorrow we get a small little update from a few senators. That's about it. We're not going to get much information tomorrow, I doubt. But we could. Hopefully President Trump just comes out and signs the bill. I'm all for $2,000 stimulus checks. I think some of the money that we're sending out to other countries is horrible. For one, great, we're helping out other countries. Great. When you are wealthy and you have a bunch, you have excess anything, you try to give back. Right now, the United States does not have excess anything. We need to provide for the American people. We need to provide for the people right here at home. Why are we trying to support another country when we can't even support our own people? That's the issue. So, multiple lawmakers at this point are scrambling to get a continuing resolution done to keep the government funded. This will be voted on Monday by the House and most likely quickly followed up by the Senate soon after. What most people expect is that this will be for 1 full month. This will just be to take us into the next administration. So what I can tell you is this will be a terrible thing for the American people because we will have to wait another month. But this is also the most likely outcome at this point. Like I said, President Trump, he's backed himself into a corner, and the only way he can get out of it is to fight. He's not going to accept defeat, not at this point. You've known how President Trump has handled himself over the past 4 years, even longer. He's not going to handle defeat well. You know that. I'm not saying that he lost. I'm not saying he lost the election. I'm not even saying that because he's still contesting the election. So until Joe Biden takes office, that's the day I'm going to say, okay, President Trump lost. But until that, there's still a possibility here. So what I'm saying is, in the way that he is losing now is he already said, okay, I want $2,000 stimulus checks. I want all this wasteful spending taken out of the government funding bill. And that's where he's losing now, is Congress is not willing to renegotiate this bill. And according to all reports, we don't have, everybody's not on board with the $2,000 stimulus check. And we're still waiting to hear from Mitch McConnell. Still haven't heard from Steve Mnuchin. We haven't heard from Mark Meadows. Why not? According to reports, multiple reports actually, Nancy Pelosi spoke with Steve Mnuchin earlier this morning about doing another stopgap bill to keep the government funded. There was nothing said about, according to reports, there's nothing said about if they made any headway in regards to the stimulus package. But that doesn't seem to be the biggest issue amongst Congress at this point. Right now, Congress seems to be more worried on passing the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, which is very important, and keeping the government funded. Again, both of these things are very important things. They're extremely important. However, so is providing for the American people that put you in office and the people that you serve. So, right now, what I can tell you is that earlier this afternoon, lawmakers were scrambling to try to get something done. But here's the issue. They cannot get anything done themselves. They have to pass this together. There has to be bipartisan support. And right now, currently, the Republicans are standing united. They're standing united, which is great. We want to see both parties united. But the issue is when Republicans are standing united now, so late in the game, makes it very difficult because Democrats have been united all along. Now, I'm not saying Democrats are right. But at the same time, I'm not saying Republicans are right. What I'm saying is the only right move at this point is to come together and get behind President Trump, whatever he's willing to do, whatever he's willing to sign, and we have to compromise. So now, Congress needs to compromise with President Trump, get something done. That's what we know at this point. So, as always, as I hear more, I promise I'll share more. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.